Good evening, everyone. My name is Matt. Welcome back to the Alchemy Lab. I'll be your alchemist this evening, and I'm here with two people, but one picture. It is Allison Wade and Mark Wade. Don't be fooled by the names. Allison Wade, Mark Wade. They are in fact Italian. Hello, Allison. Hello, Mark.
You are gonna hear soon enough.
Yeah, our accent. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whichever time it is you're hearing this.
Yeah, whoever and wherever.
Introduce yourself, Allison.
Oh.
Yes, for people who don't know who either of you are, who are you and what do you do?
Which is everyone. So I am Allison, of course that's a pen name. I am from Italy. With Mark we have been writing. We've been writing a lot.
She's writing, I just break stuff during the editing phase.
Exactly.
And she had to fix it again. She has to fix it again.
Yes, I've been writing for a lot of years, like more than 10 years. And
this is our first ever interview.
Yes.
Recording, etc.
Maybe it will be the last.
We'll see.
Yeah, the first, possibly the last. All right. Nice.
And
thank you for inviting us to the lab.
Absolutely.
We are very, very glad to be here.
Thank you very much.
Well, I am very happy to have you.
Interview that nobody else will ever have.
Let this be the interview. All right. Awesome. Okay. So my understanding is that there's writing and there's some other stuff, kind of like modding stuff going on as well.
I'm also modding Skyrim. I've been doing that for a couple of years already.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
I like fantasy and yes, I was writing this series and I wanted to see how my characters would look like in Skyrim, so I started modding them into the game, and that's how everything started. And I learned how to do a bit of scripting, not much, but I mostly do character overalls and NPC followers, stuff like that.
Right.
Skyrim is a very old game, a lot of mods, and it is another platform if you want to see in a fantasy, medieval fantasy settings, different characters, different things, maybe from other medias, and for example, our medias, and we managed to insert the character and interact with them, give them tools and powers that maybe are similar to the book. It's extremely fun if you have the time to do that.
Weirdly enough, some are pretty similar, maybe because it's the generic fantasy tropes.
And medieval fantasy is very, very typical.
Right, yeah. Well, you say it's an old game. I think it's now basically on every platform ever right now, like Skyrim.
I think it will be on the future fridge, microwaves.
Yeah.
Microwave.
Yes. Of course, you have to use the PC if you want to extract the maximum of it.
Yeah, if you want to mod it properly, yeah, it's got to be on PC.
Yes.
All right. So there's these two things, and I'm not sure. Let's start with the writing in the books, because that's I guess the most kind of prescient thing, because you have a new book out now, I believe.
It will be out on the 18th.
Right.
So we are very close. Now it's 14. I don't know when the video will come out. But...
Well, it will come out on the 18th. So Saturday. Yeah. So it's out right now, guys. It's out right now.
Right. Today is the 18th. Okay.
So the book will be out, I suppose. The first one in a series that's still in progress.
It is in progress, but the series is well planned and written. I think we have basically 2 books.
20 years ago. And then I wrote the series once many years ago, but it was not very good because I still had much to learn. So I'm now doing a total rewrite with experience again through the years. I mean,
Nice.
I hope people will enjoy it. And I thought that it would be nice to translate it in English because there are many more.
Of course, the book started in
Yes,
Italian.
I wrote the books in Italian because that's my native language and I'm more comfortable with that. But I think there are so many people that read in English from all the world. And it's more likely to find some that are interested in my story.
Right. So this is
The book
okay.
is
So
being
these books
Sorry,
started off in Italian and now they're you're translating them and kind of reworking them at the same time into.
Yes, I first rewrote the Italian. I started in 2019 the rewrite in Italian, and then this year I started the translation.
Right.
So the first book now is finished after much pain.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah. Can't imagine translating any of mine into any other language. That would be a lot of effort. Yeah. Is it quite a big book as well?
It's 392 pages, the final print version.
Nice.
Which
All right.
is 129,000 words, I think.
Nice. All right. Nice and beefy. All right.
Which is weird because I actually tend to write short things, but this one is a very long story with a lot of characters and a lot of things happening.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, for fantasy book, you need to go many pages.
Yes.
You need to go big. You need to go big.
There are people who write 500 pages is the minimum. Then they go up. Oh, that's real nice.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm gonna read it. I have a lot of backlog of books.
Yeah, it's yep. A lot. Every reader does. Lots and lots of books on the shelf or on the Kindle.
Premise is very interesting, so I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. So what is the book about? What is the premise?
Oh boy. I always struggle with the description. Pretty much is a story about a magic flower that it's not actually a flower, but it's made of magic stones. But the flower is the shape in a, let's see, astrological sense. Because there is a bit of everything, astrology, esoteric stuff. Okay. And the story is about these young people that find out that they are chosen to be the light wardens, and they have to find the stones and use their powers. Every stone has each an elemental power, like. Since there are 6 elements in the story, there are fire, water, earth and sky, and light and darkness. And each stone is connected to that.
It is a story about rediscovering this power, a little bit lost in the times. It is a story about the next generation of wardens, of power keepers. About the remains of the previous generation, and of course the lore spans thousands of years in the past about the first and then the subsequent keepers of these powers.
Yes. It was the problem to decide which term to use for the keepers, because in Italian we say custodi, which is like keepers, custodians, but in the end we decided warden because it's more close to the Germanic root of the word.
Okay. I don't know how much you want to give away. I wouldn't want you to give much away, really, about the book. So the main, I guess, the main drive is these young people finding. Do they find them all at once, or is it finding they have to find each of them?
Yes, they found them at different times during the story, not all at once, of course, because the stones are kept in some temples around the world, so they have to travel a lot.
Right, and there may be people who are also
a bit of a mystery.
Yes.
Right.
Also, I want to leave the reader to discover the powers while they go.
Right, and I guess there are people who are trying to get the stones as well as them.
Yes, of course. They
right.
are the bad people, and then there is another dark plot.
They cannot see you if you do air quotes. She's doing air quotes, but nobody can see her. Exactly. Dark plot.
Yes, because one thing we know from the start is that 10 years ago something happened that caused the murder of the emperor and his wife. So now the emperor is the son, which, by the way, if you want to see how he looks like, Neutron Board did a fantastic portrait. I have everything on my website. Nice. People want to check it out. It's eternalstones.net.
All right, linked below.
Yes, thank you. Also, I made a few teasers. There is a free preview of the book, which is 44 pages. You can download a free PDF on my website. So you can read the first chapter and get an idea of the story, the writing.
Since now is the 18th and the book is out, they can
if you
read a little. Yes. First they read a little bit and then they go.
So if you like it, and then I made for now I have a small video where I made the characters in Skyrim and I present them.
Nice. All right. Okay, so lots of stuff to kind of tease people in, which is very nice.
I think it's important to let people know what they're got into before, so they don't have to go blind and see and maybe find something that they don't like. I prefer people to check the preview first and see, oh, okay, this is interesting, I want to read, or no, I don't like it, I'm not bothering.
Right. Yeah, get a proper taste. Yeah. And then decide. Yeah. Okay, nice. All right. So, and this, you say this has been going since 2019?
Yes, is it the first book?
Yeah.
I started writing in 2019 and in 2021 and was published in Italian. And then the other 2 years I was writing the second one, which is almost done, but it needs some work.
All right. And
yes, the book,
that's Mark's job.
Exactly. It went through a lot of rewriting and editing, etc. But nothing as big as this total rewriting prepared for the English translation. I saw the book. I saw the first one, the first edition. I bought on paper. That's how we met, actually.
Okay.
That's the first edition of the book, and he liked it, and we got.
I said the mind of the person who wrote this book is interesting. I want to know more. And then that was a couple of years ago.
And then I dragged him in the story because he's now writing some side stories. Because there's one character he likes.
We finished for the main books, and then regarding the main books, yes, Dr. Ryan, exactly. I read the first edition, and I can say quality, of course, improved a lot, and I think people will be happy to read this final edition, this ultimate edition, and yes, they say the first 10 books are training, and then you write the 11th, and this is a good book. Basically, the same. 10 book, almost 10 book of training, and then this is
almost at least.
And yes, I started just reading. Then I wanted to do something on the side. So this is there is a what she was saying earlier. There is a side character, not one of the main characters.
Yes.
I think he was cool. He was
Yes.
cool, and he had. I thought he had. This guy had a lot of adventure in his life. And maybe I can imagine some of these adventures. So I started imagining and writing, and she thought they were good.
Yes.
So they became canon. We have just a couple of things. So I also write side stories now. Only writing. There is nothing
Not
out
yet.
yet, and we will see maybe in the future.
Nice. All right.
I want to say the name of the character because nobody know how to say it.
Yes, because if you read an English speaker, if you read the word, I think you're going to pronounce one way, but
yes, this one is called Itam, I-T-A-M, like Itam, but with an A.
Right. Okay. Itam.
I think normally you would pronounce that item. Item.
Itam or
Also
itam.
other, but I think the most unpronounceable name is the one I use as my nickname on Nexus Mods. It's called Shaiziar.
Oh, good grief!
Which should be a name. Yes, and it's written in a very weird way. And I always joke on this in the book because not even the book character knows how to pronounce it. So they always get it wrong.
Nice. Yeah, right. So how many are going to be in the series?
For now, I think it would be 3. But we never know also if Mark finishes his side stories, there would be more.
The book are more than one. It's a series, but the first book is pretty much conclude a lot of things.
Yes, you can
be
that one, and you are.
It is already a satisfied experience. The second one expands a lot, but also have an ending.
Yes.
And I think the third one is the more detached.
The third one will be the final conclusion. And for what I'm thinking now, it will have some time skips. So it will span across many years, like 20 years. But I'm not sure yet, because if I find myself willing to write, I might make more than one. But I never know.
This is the thing. I started off with a 3-book series, and it became 4 books while I was writing the second one. So you never know. It could become 4. It could become more.
Also, every day something new comes up. I come up with some new
lore element.
We added a lot of stuff from the original.
Yes. Of course, the more there is under the iceberg, the more thick the iceberg is under the water, the more solid is the overall story. You can fake a fake iceberg. You can fake a lot of lore behind what is written. But if there is lore for real, it's even better.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, if you've got that solid foundation, yeah. You almost always have a better story to tell.
My first day.
Okay. Anyway, we were talking about
back.
Right. So yes, we were just the sort of the lore behind the books, and then the themes going on there, because you mentioned astrology.
The magical system.
Yes, I worked a lot on the magic system. It's not nothing is casual. It's a bit inspired by Western astrology, but also the various myths of the various people. Also, there is a mentioning of the flood, the deluge, which is an event that happens in the story at the beginning of the first era, and that it's a thing that set in motion a lot of what is playing out in the story right now.
Well, the deluge shaped the world.
Yes,
because the main setting of the world.
Basically, the story takes place on one continent, which is rather small. And the reason why there are so many different people in the same continent is because at the start of the first era, there was a different continent with different peoples. Each one has his own stone. And then the deluge happened, and the people that survived had to escape, and they all ended up in the same continent. But I don't want to spoil too much because that's another important part of the story.
For the magic system is strong. You have to study like it is a real subject. No, it's not real. I jest, but it is well studied.
Mark always says that I make school lessons.
So the deluge, I get.
Yes.
Am I correct in assuming that's rain?
Yes, but I cannot explain now and what happened because that will be shown in the next books.
Say no more.
But anyway, there was the primordial stones that were okay.
All right. So okay. Nice.
Also, another thing I want to say that there are a lot of characters.
Not too much. For a fantasy, I think a regular amount.
Yes. And I tried to make each one different and unique in their own way, so anyone can pick their favorite. Also, they are of course connected to their element, the stone, the zodiac sign, everything. They all have their own specific category. For example, the first one we meet is this young girl that's called Kira.
She's.
What to that? Okay. She's we don't know much about her. We only know that she was running away when she was very little. But how do I explain? So the first scene on the start of the book is a man with a little girl that's running to take the girl to safety. And we only know that it's running away from a demon. That's all we know. Then he leaves the little girl with a creature that's a water fae. And the fae is the one that raises the child for 10 years. And then the story starts 10 years later, and we see the girl grown up in the island with the fae. And then here is when she discovers her power. I don't know if I have to say more.
No, I think it's okay.
But she's the first thing you read when you start the book, so it's not much of a spoiler. And she discovers that she has the power of fire, and then she has to start her journey and find the other wardens with the other powers and the other stones. She knows some stuff, and but we discover with her like she goes on.
If it won't be too much of a spoiler, it might be thinking about it, but if it's not too much of a spoiler,
yes,
would the you know what? It would be too much of a spoiler, I think. So I'm not even going to ask, because even if you say I can't answer that, then it would be then it would be sort of a spoiler anyway. All right.
Let's say that right away there are a couple of protagonists introduced, and other protagonists they introduce in the middle of the book. Let's say and the powers sometimes they are on the nose, sometimes they are mysterious, and you never know which one is.
I want people to try to guess who will be the next one to have powers. And so I've tried to not give away too much, but some are pretty obvious. Others maybe are more a surprise.
So it's the story.
Maybe will be discovered in the next book.
All right, nice. Okay.
Because maybe this power system and the magical system is maybe more complex than the first one.
Too complex. And also it's not a story, because I want to say, since I am a female author, and the first character you see is a female, and many people might think it's targeted to female audience, or maybe it's a paranormal romance. I wanted to make it a fantasy for everyone. So we have a girl at the start, but then we have right away a knight, which is a young boy,
young man.
And then we meet another character, which is an archer from the Southlands, that sort of like a population similar to the Africans, while the knight is from a more European setting. Then we have some Eastern Asian characters.
So it's
all of these different.
It's everything in the world, because it's when I started, I thought I wanted to write a story about a world that it's like our world. So there are many cultures, many ethnicities, and I wanted to put that all in the same.
And everyone's on one continent.
That's why all of these different peoples are on the same continent.
Sorry, what did you say?
I was going to say, because they're all on the same continent, so it'd be feasible for them all to be in one kind of
and then
area.
I made this explanation of why.
Right, okay. Okay. So it's like an ensemble cast of characters, and they...
Yes. It's
I like a good ensemble.
Classic party of heroes. Each one with his magic, with his weapon. I try to give everyone a different combat style. So
yes, you say earlier it is not a romance for female, etc. I can confirm. Of course, there are young men and women going around, but there is a lot of sword fighting with other weapons. It's not just a couple of hits and nobody knows what happens. No, the action is detailed. It's cool.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
All right. Nice. All right. Good stuff. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a mix of things within it. Is there any, if it's not, again, I should say, if it's not a spoiler, but is there potential romance in it?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's not a romance, but I care very much about romance of my, all my characters will have their different love stories. There is something for everyone.
It's good to, I always find it's good to have some, just to like, so they kind of connect together in a lot of ways. I find it's weird. I find a lot of fantasy and things now doesn't really have much romance in it. And it's a bit like, no, I mean, this is fine, but
yes. I think one thing I wanted to say about the target of the book, I try to stay family friendly. Let's see. So there is nothing too excessive. There is a bit of violence because fighting with sword, people get hurt, people die, and that's part of the story. And then when there are romance scenes, there's nothing particularly explicit. It's a very old school kind of romance.
Oh, is it
chivalry,
pan to
moral,
fireplace? Chivalry,
think Dragonlance. It's one of the first fantasy book series I read, and it's pretty in the same target, let's say, as a rating and everything. The vibe is there, but I don't have dragons, so sorry for those that like dragons.
Also elves.
I'll forgive you. It's fine.
Elves, but I have the fae that are kind of similar to elves.
I guess.
But no point here.
Fair. Yeah,
sometimes we change.
Also, I have lizard people. I like lizard people.
You know, I'm similar. I didn't elves did not make the cut into my fantasy series either. But lizard people did.
Yes.
Oh, you have lizard people? Cool.
Yes.
Nice. I
because I could justify them. It's like I can't justify elves being there in the world and how it works. But lizard people, I can justify being there.
Same.
Yeah.
I actually have the fae are connected to the element and all the magic system, and I have a few immortals that play a role. Well, one you meet right away in the chapter.
Yes,
maybe
one is right away.
Right. Okay, nice. Oh, very good. Okay. Right. So, I mean, well, it's out now, so check it out. Yeah. All right. Brilliant.
Where is the book available?
It's on Amazon. It should be on Kindle Unlimited, so you can borrow if you have the subscription.
All right. Super.
And I think the starting price will be 99 cents, and there will be a promo on the 22 on the Black Friday week, because there is a based book sale, and very based. And I submitted my book, so you can get it for free for a few days.
Nice. All right. Superb. Okay. Well, I think before we close, let's touch briefly on Skyrim. So, Skyrim is a game that I do come back to very often.
Yes.
Whenever I have the chance, and I don't really know why. It's one of those games where I'm like, I don't really have any investment in the story of it really, but I just like being in that world. I like being in Skyrim and just kind of role playing in the world as opposed to being the Dragonborn.
Yes, I like being as Black.
Yes, also it is an quote unquote old game. It is buggy. It is a lot of problem, a lot of weird glitchy stuff. The texture are old, the character are horrifying, ugly. But we go back because it is interesting and exactly you can role play. I think the key for its immortality, you can do an infinite amount of things with mods, and you can do a lot of things, the same thing in a lot of different ways. And then there are also new things to do. And Todd was very lucky with this one. Todd really hit the mark with this game.
Yeah,
we are still doing it.
You mentioned the bugs. Yeah, I mean, not only is it an old game, it's an old Bethesda game, so it's obviously gonna have more bugs than an anthill. Yeah.
Classic Bethesda bugs, Bethesda glitching.
Right.
I have many mods to.
I think you published
everything, fix bugs.
I think Allison published already more than 90 mods. 90.
90 something.
That's
Nice. Well, because it came along right at the perfect. I mean, mods have been around forever, but I suppose that it really blew up, I guess,
It was
in that time.
It was
11.
11. It was 11, 11, 11, and it was between the Tolkien trilogy movie and the big jump in popularity of Game of Thrones when
Yes,
the
it
book
was.
became series. And I don't think it is a secret. I think Todd borrowed a lot from Game of Thrones lore, and if you have a good elements you put in your game. For example, also jump to my mind that the music, the score is excellent still nowadays, and everything contributed to the final product. And then everything that doesn't work, you can get fixed with mods.
You can mod it away, yeah.
So it is a recipe for longevity.
Well, like I've been playing some of the other ones as well. I think the first one I played was Oblivion.
Yes.
And I love Oblivion. Oblivion's brilliant.
Glitchy as hell. Yes, I love
Yes.
it.
Lots. Yeah.
I started it. I made some videos where I start.
Yes, you have Allison. You have a YouTube channel also with clips and gameplays.
I did a full Dark Brotherhood gameplay of Skyrim.
Also Oblivion.
And I made some shorts of me discovering Oblivion and reacting to the first impressions.
Those are funny.
Especially the creation of the character traumatized me.
Yeah. Oh, God! The character creator, I imagine.
Yes.
If you put it all to one side and you get this thing with a massive head.
I used the Raise Menu modded and other cosmetic mods that make the characters beautiful, and then I go back to Oblivion.
The shock is real.
Yeah, it's. I feel like some of the stories in that are just like the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion is so well done. Yeah. And
was your first Bethesda or also Morrowind you tried?
My first one was Oblivion. I went back to Morrowind.
Okay.
Kind of more recently. Morrowind is good. It is good, but I find I take on too much in Morrowind.
Morrowind now it is very old and back in the days it was fantastic, was perfect, but it is also a lot of more complex than Oblivion, which is more complex than Skyrim. Generation through generation, the game became maybe simpler, more accessible. Morrowind was very difficult to understand all the mechanics, and for example, you had just only the armor of the character. In Skyrim, you have gloves, boots, and armor. That's it, and helmet. In Morrowind, you have left hand, right hand, one braces. You have cuirass up, down. You have
in Oblivion,
legs
I
and
had
feet.
one accident with the pencil.
Oh yes, because you didn't know that armor were divided in upper armor and lower armor.
I have to also equip pencil, so I went around with only the upper part. And
so you did dungeon crawl in underpants.
Yeah, it's yeah. And then in Daggerfall, because I was playing Daggerfall recently, that's even more complicated and even more, and you can just be nude in Daggerfall. So you have to have clothes.
That one I only
and
saw
the
video.
Yeah.
I tried Morrowind once, and then I got lost and I never played again.
You get lost in the garden, in our garden. You get lost.
No sense of direction, especially in video games. So every time I have to go from Whiterun to Ivestead, I always get lost. I end up in that cave with the farmers.
Yeah, it's yes, it's a bit of a it's a bit of a nightmare. I mean,
Open world
Daggerfall.
is fantastic also to get lost in.
He just goes around Sky without a map, without compass, and I ask him, how do you know where you are?
I find it.
I
I
have
don't
too
know.
many hours in that game.
I don't know if it's the design. I find Skyrim way easier to get around in than something like Oblivion or Morrowind. Maybe because of the variety of all the environments and like the landmarks and stuff are much clearer. But
yes, in Skyrim, the holes are the holes of the section of the map are quite different from one another. The marsh, the tundra, the frozen coast, and I think yes, Skyrim has mountain range, but I think is less vertical than Oblivion and Morrowind. Especially Oblivion. I think Oblivion have a lot of hills and small mountains. Is a lot more vertical. That can disrupt your journey. Skyrim, yes, big mountains, big ranges, but also a lot more flat, I think.
Yeah, Daggerfall
Morrowind,
entirely flat.
Confusing sometimes also.
Well, I say Daggerfall's entirely flat. There are some pretty hefty mountains in Daggerfall. It's the dungeons that are always a trouble in Daggerfall. I don't because they're all procedurally generated. So
yes,
getting lost in them is really, really easy.
This is the biggest map, the biggest game ever made. I don't remember the number, but
that's not for me.
I mean, it was. I managed to explore a whole dungeon, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, now I need to leave." Okay. All right. I'll try and leave. Maybe I'll use the bats I killed as like breadcrumbs to get me out of this dungeon. Just leaving bits of bat behind me. Yeah.
Bats. Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
There's the cat falling for dinner.
Yeah. I'm hoping the next one will be out. Well, I have no idea when because they just dropped Starfield. But I'm hoping it'll be out sometime close. I don't know when.
Maybe a couple of years from Starfield at least.
Hopefully they've been working on it.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. Yeah. Hopefully they've been working on it. But I feel like they need to release Skyrim on like a couple more platforms before they start working on
PlayStation 7, 8, and then we can talk about I don't know the name, will be Hammerfell, the location, but I don't know the name of the game, which one will be.
I said the other day they're gonna remake Skyrim on the Starfield engine and then release it again.
But Starfield is on the Skyrim engine, which is on the Oblivion engine.
Don't say that.
No, maybe Fallout 3 engine. I don't remember. Yes, one thing about the new game, since it is the new game will be in Hammerfell, I think we're going to have some lore about the Dwemer, because aside from Morrowind and Skyrim, Hammerfell is the main province of the Dwemers. So maybe we can we will find out where they are, when they are, where they are.
Did they confirm that it's going to be in Hammerfell?
Yeah, I think that one is 100% confirmed.
Ooh.
And I think in Oblivion we had the hero Kvatch, the Eternal Champion, Morrowind, the Neverwin, Skyrim, the Dragonborn. I think the superpower element of the game will be the Ansei, the special swordman of Hammerfell. They have way of the sword similar to the Bushido Japanese, and yes, it is a mix of sword play and conjuration, something like that. In the end of the journey, the swordman fight without a sword, conjuring his own soul. So I think the Ansei will be the next Dragonborn element, special element of the fantasy setting.
Interesting.
You know, when you start to talk about Skyrim lore, it never stops.
Hey, this is Hammerfell lore.
Hammerfell's the red guard, isn't it?
Allison is reaching is reaching her limit.
Yeah. One more question, just a confirmation. Hammerfell's where the red guard are from, isn't it?
Yes.
Exactly, yes.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay.
And also the history between the Civil War, the Empire, and Skyrim. Hammerfell also play a big part during Skyrim.
Yeah.
So we will see how the things will evolve.
And it would be a new environment.
Who will won the Civil War? Because in the game you can side with the Empire or the Stormcloak, and you can quote unquote win the war. But which one is the canon one? We will see.
That's
We will
argument
see.
of fight in this house.
Okay, when Matt, when you're ready for a 8-hour session about
I
the
was gonna
size of
say.
the war, no, I jest.
I was gonna say, should I ask or not? I probably won't. I don't know if my internet could handle it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, so okay, so let's see. So the book is out at time of it releasing. The book is out now on Amazon, on your website as well, I guess, Allison.
My website is just a sort of wiki, and there is just the preview, but the only sale channel for now is Amazon. So I have the exclusive for Kindle Unlimited, and I cannot publish anywhere else.
All right. Oh, okay, yeah, right, because they do that.
Also,
yeah.
I will make 2 different book cover for the print. There is a hardcover version with more serious cover with just the symbol of the Empire, and then the paperback will be like the ebook cover with the blonde girl with the fiery book.
Nice. All right, and where can people find you both?
I didn't understand the question.
Like working, yeah.
So I am on eternalstone.net, which is the main website for the books. I am on Twitter, like you find Alison Wade. My handle is Ali Wader.
Alrighty.
And then I am on YouTube with a channel called Land of Ice, but still Alison Wade on the address.
Handle.
Yes. And then I am on Gilded. I have a tiny Gilded server where I talk about Skyrim and fantasy stuff.
Nice.
And there is a invitation link in my website. And I'm not very social, so you won't find me.
No, really?
I always tend to escape and appear.
All right. Well, Mark, how about you?
I don't do much. I have also a YouTube channel, Real Mark Wade, and also on Instagram, Real Mark Wade.
Cars stuff.
Yeah, I usually just do a little bit of clip of my mods in Skyrim, and then there are links to the mods on the Nexus website. And yes, I like cars. There are a couple of videos of cars. Don't do much. That's it.
All right, super. Well, obviously you can find me here at the Alchemy Lab, and that Drunk Wordsmith, a new poem has just dropped. Not mine, but The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Also, you can find me on Twitter, God forbid, there be dragons, at Waterhouse Books. Also on Minds. I don't have a Gilded server, but you may find me in certain places on Gilded, you never know. And on Substack at mattwaterhouse.substack.com, where there's travel writing and short stories and all sorts of things. All right, superb. All right. Well, Allison and Mark. Yes, thank you for coming on, Allison and Mark.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Great pleasure.
It was fun.
Indeed. The pleasure was all mine. All right. And I'll see you guys. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.